Morning yogis. This is a quick practice, about 15 minutes, depending on how much you decide to add or take away from it or to it. It's a really great thing to do right when you hop out of bed in the morning to energize your body and your mind, but it could also be the warm up or the beginning of a longer practice or another workout that you're planning on doing. So just let it fit into your life however it fits in best. There's lots of back bending, heart opening to wake up your body. So it's also my first foray into doing voiceover on a video, and all of this video editing is new to me. So hopefully you'll still get something out of it while I develop my technical skills, which are not great, but I look forward to sharing this practice with you. I'll see you on the mat. We'll start with the feet a little wider than the hips, standing at the top of the mat, and we'll inhale to reach the arms all the way up, exhaling the arms down along the sides, and we'll inhale again to reach up. Exhale the arms down, and one more time, inhale, reach up. Exhaling, bend your knees, swan dive to fold forward into a ragdoll, maybe hooking thumbs into opposite elbows. Adding a little sway or a bounce, any kind of movement or any other arm variation here that you like. Just allowing the body to release any tension in the low back that you may have woken up with. Maybe shaking out the head a little bit if your neck feels tight or stiff. And we'll bring the hands down alongside the feet to step back with the left leg. So finding a lunge with the right leg forward, lengthen the spine open through your chest. And we're going to begin to rock forward and back on the toes. Just moving into the hips, awakening the muscles of the legs. Make sure that right inner thigh muscle is nice and engaged, giving you control of your movement. We're going to step forward again to Uttanasana, forward fold, and we're going to take it back with the right leg this time. So left leg forward in the lunge. Again, long spine, open chest, and beginning to rock forward and back on the toes. Grounding the palms, this time we're going to step back to find downward dog and just let your body really open up. This is probably your first downward dog of the day, certainly the first of the practice. So maybe just bending your knees to let your spine lengthen, reaching up through your tailbone, pedaling out the feet, letting one heel lower at a time to lengthen the hamstrings. On an inhale, rock forward to find plank pose, making sure the hands are stacked under the shoulders. Maybe turn the fingers out to make sure there's no rounding in the shoulders. You're going to inhale, pick up your right leg, and exhale the knee to the right elbow. Inhale, lift the left leg and exhale forward. And you're going to do this 3 to 5 times. The exhale always pulling the knee forward to meet the elbow. Just letting your breath set the pace of your movements. Exhale back to downward dog. And then we'll inhale forward again to plank, exhaling right back to downward dog. And this again, you're going to do 3 to 5 times. Getting your shoulders warm, integrating your breath with the movement. Inhale forward. Exhale back. We're going to let the knees come down here to find tabletop, and we're going to rock over onto the left hip. We're setting up for something like a side plank. You want your right ankle crossed over your left ankle. You can place your right hand on your hip. You're going to press down through your left palm and lift up through the hips. So this is deeper than a side plank. This is more of a rainbow shape. You've got that arm reaching up overhead, really elongating, feeling that down the sides of the body, even into your armpit. Find your tabletop again as you come back down, and we're going to rock over onto the left hip. So left ankle crossed over right, hand on the hip as you press up again, finding not a side plank, but a deeper arc, a rainbow shape, really feeling the left side body open up. You can bring your hips back down. We're finding tabletop again. Tucking the toes to exhale the hips up and back to downward dog. We'll inhale forward here again and exhale through Chaturanga Dandasana onto the belly. Chin is on the mat. We're going to reach the arms back behind to interlace the fingers. Hands can rest on the tailbone as you begin. Elbows are bent as you inhale to lift your shoulders and your chest. And as you press the knuckles back, begin to straighten your arms, finding a half locust. Getting light on your big toes, lift your legs as well. You can also leave the tops of the feet on the mat and just do the upper half of the back bend. I want to give this about 5 breaths total, letting the back of the neck stay long. Then bring the hands down alongside the ribs and press up. You can either find a deep cobra shape here if you've got your feet down, or an upward dog, tops of the feet on the mat, thighs lifted. Then the exhale will bring you back to downward dog. Your inhale takes your gaze forward, come onto your toes. Bend your knees and exhale to step your feet to meet your hands at the top of the mat. Inhale to lift halfway. Exhale to fold. And inhale your arms all the way up. Exhaling your hands to the heart, finding Tadasana. Take a breath. And inhale again. Reach the arms all the way up. Exhale. Open the arms. Fold forward. Inhale to lift halfway. Exhale, fold. Palms come down as you step your feet back to plank. And exhale, lower to the belly through this first vinyasa and our first full sun salutation A. You can be doing cobra poses here or lifting the thighs to find upward dog, always finding your way back to downward dog. Inhale, gaze forward, come to the toes, bend the knees, and exhale, step your feet to the top of the mat. Inhale to lift halfway. Exhale to fold. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale, hands to heart. We're going to take another round of Sun A on the inhale, reaching up. Exhaling to fold forward. Lifting halfway on the inhale breath. Exhale to fold, palms come down. You can step or you can hop your feet back. And so throughout this practice, I'm using stepping back and forward, but if you've got hops back or hops forward, please feel free to use those if you're energized enough as your morning gets going to do that level of practice here. Gazing forward, coming to the toes, exhale, bend your knees to step or hop to the top of the mat. Lifting halfway on the inhale, folding on the exhale, and inhaling the arms up. Exhale the hands to the heart. We'll do it again as we inhale to reach up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale to lift halfway. Exhale to fold, palms down, step or hop back. Take your vinyasa. Inhale to reach your right leg up and exhale your knee to the nose, rounding like cat. Inhale up again and exhale the knee to the right elbow or tricep. Inhale up and exhale to the left elbow. Inhaling up, exhale your toes to the mat. We'll take the left leg up on an inhale, exhale, round the knee comes to the nose. Inhale up, exhale to the left elbow. Inhale, lift the leg and exhale to the right elbow. Inhale up. Exhale your knee to the nose, step up between your hands. We're coming to warrior two. Flip your left palm up and exhale, reverse your warrior. And inhale, come forward to side angle. We're beginning to dance the warrior out here. So maybe about 3 times reverse and then coming forward to side angle. Maybe fewer than that or maybe more, maybe faster or slower than I'm going. Then holding on that final side angle pose, maybe bring your fingertips down and open up. Gaze up into that elbow. Reach your arm up over your ear for energy here with that upward gaze. Then bring your hand down to your hip. Might heel toe that back foot up a little bit. We're coming to a half moon balance here. So balancing on the fingertips. You might take a block or a book underneath your fingertips if you prefer. Extending that top arm up. Press out through that heel that's lifted. You can take your gaze forward here, look straight ahead, or even look up if your balance feels really on point this morning. When you're ready, you're going to bend that left knee, floating the right foot down to the mat, returning to your warrior two. Then turning toes to the long side of the mat, the right toes are going to turn out. We're going to find warrior two with the right leg bent, knee stacked over ankle, and we're going to dance it out again. And again, you can do more of these than I'm doing. You can do fewer than I'm doing. Your pace might be different from mine. Your body's waking up at its own pace. So just kind of let the movements flow from wherever you find yourself this morning. On that final side angle pose, you might go a bit deeper. Your fingertips might come down to the mat or a block. That arm reaching up, gazing up for energy. And then when you're setting up for your half moon, the hand can come to the hip. That left foot can heel toe up a bit, balancing on your fingertips. You're going to lift the left leg, reaching up through that top arm. Press out through the heel. And again, here you might test your balance with an upward gaze. Using control to bring yourself back down to warrior two. We'll turn all the toes to the long side of the mat here. We're setting up for Prasarita Padottanasana, wide-legged forward fold. So as we're folding forward here, we're going to take the peace fingers here, wrap them around the big toes. See if you can let your heels be turned out slightly, toes turned in, and then bending the elbows to take you deeper into that fold. Again, just giving your body a moment here, a pause to open up. You might feel this in your hamstrings. You might feel it in your low back. You'll probably feel it wherever you need it most. I can tell you I'm feeling it a little bit in both this morning. I'm giving this about 5 breaths here. That's about as long as I'm holding any of my poses this morning, but if you want to hold it longer, you're more than welcome to make this work for you. When you're ready to come out, just walking yourself forward, lengthening your spine, and we're going to walk ourselves around, left leg forward in a lunge here as we come back to the top of the mat, letting the right knee come down. We're going to heel toe the left foot over to the edge of the mat and set up a lizard pose. So we've got the hands on the inside of the left foot. You can stay on the hands or you can bring your forearms or your elbows down. I'm using a block. To me, that feels a little more accessible than the floor this morning, but you're welcome to go all the way down to the floor. Just let your spine relax, let your neck relax. Again, I'm giving it about 5 breaths to each of these poses. Coming back onto the hands, you can move your block to the side. You may want to take it with you as you walk yourself around. Now you've got your right leg forward, hands on the inside of that right foot as you set up your lizard pose here. So if you're staying on the hands, you're on the hands, or you're bringing your forearms down, taking about 5 breaths or so. And coming back onto your hands, we're going to walk ourselves all the way back around to the top of the mat. And we'll step back to downward dog. Let your knees come down here, find a tabletop. We're just going to do a quick cow and cat. I'm just going to do one of each. You can do more. Letting the belly drop as you inhale, opening up the chest. Exhaling, rounding up into your cat shape. And again, you can do more of these if you like. Finding your way back to downward dog when you're ready. Inhaling forward for plank, coming down through chaturanga to the belly, and we're going to set up for bow pose here. You can repeat your locust pose if that feels more appropriate for you, but if you're coming to bow, you're going to bend your knees, bring the heels in close to your seat, and reach back. Find the ankles or the tops of the feet. Inhale, roll the shoulders up to the ears, slide them down the back as you lift the chest. And then you're going to lift your knees as well, flexing the feet, press the heels to the ceiling. This is an upper back bend. You should be feeling it right between your shoulders. So if you're feeling it in your low back, you may not lift quite so high. You might maybe try to draw your knees together a little more to protect the low back. And after about 5 breaths, you can release, coming down, letting your hips rock, or picking up your feet, doing a windshield wiper movement, just letting any tension go, especially that can come into the low back in a pose like this. Any kind of back bending, we always like to take this release. If you take your ear to the mat, you're going to want to flip your head over about halfway through. So we're going to inhale to come into Sphinx pose here, drawing the right knee up toward the right elbow. Thread your left arm under your right arm, and you're going to roll back onto your right shoulder. You're finding yourself in a twist here. It's hard to keep both the knee and the shoulder on the mat at the same time, so you might rock the shoulder down, let the knee lift, and then rock the knee down, let the shoulder lift. You can continue rocking, or you might just find a nice place somewhere in between that you'd like to stay. And then when you're ready, we're going to roll back to the belly, coming into Sphinx, elbows under the shoulders, pulling the left knee toward the left elbow. We'll thread the right arm under left, rolling back, let that left arm come down. And again, just maybe a little bit of rocking. Shoulder lowers a bit, knee lifts. Knee lowers a bit, shoulder lifts. Find where you want to be. Take a couple breaths here. We'll roll all the way onto the back from here. That'll take you right off your mat, so just kind of scoot yourself back on. You can draw your knees into the chest. We're going to roll like a ball, so rocking up onto the hips and then back up onto the shoulders, just rocking forward and back a couple times, getting a nice massage up and down the spine. And falling back onto the back, just circle your knees around in each direction a couple times, or maybe just rock side to massage out the low back. From here, you might choose to end your practice for now, coming into Shavasana. Or if this is just a segue into another practice or a warm-up, you might sit yourself up, hugging the knees into the chest. And carry on with whatever it is you're about to do. This is where I'll leave you. Have a wonderful day. Namaste.